Good evening, everyone. All right, so good evening. How has been your day? How about now? Please confirm you can hear me. Confirm you can hear me, please. Hello. Oh, great. Good evening, everyone. And how has been our day? It's going to be an engaging session. I'd like you to engage this chat box section. And when it's time to answer or to respond, I just like you to engage the chat box section. So today we're talking about spiritual intelligence, becoming spiritually intelligent, becoming spiritually intelligent person. Now, the truth is the kind of life we live in, most people push spirituality behind the curtain. They feel it does not matter. They feel that once my life is fine, once things are good, then it's fine for me, regardless of what it is happening for me in the spiritual realm. And the truth is, the spiritual governs the physical. The spiritual governs the physical. And as that is true, you want to take time to be able to understand your life from the spiritual realm. And this understanding is one of the things that will able to be able to position yourself appropriately, live life the way you should live it, understand the purpose of God for you, and live in accordance to His will for your life. So this is why it is crucial that we take time to learn about this subject matter today. All right. So spiritual intelligence is a key driver to our fulfillment in life. It is a quick driver that is needed for us to live a fulfilled life is spiritual intelligence. Many people do everything they know how to do in the physical, do every damn thing they know how best to do, but it just does not become anything for them. It doesn't really sum up to anything big or good for them. This is so because they have pushed aside spiritual intelligence, thinking that it does not matter. So this is why it is important that we learn spiritual intelligence. And there are quite a number of Bible characters that eschewed spiritual intelligence in their time. The mistake most people do this time around is to spend much time on life, focusing on the physical and intellectual quotients of life. Even though, yes, they are basic function that happens to us. And one of the things we need to know is that we need to learn, develop our knowledge, and work to make a living. As much as that is also important, it is important that we understand the spiritual side. Attention is always given to two dimensions of our lives, which includes attention to our childhood and attention to our schooling, which at the end of the day hinders or does not even make us to see how important the spiritual life of ours is. Success in come again. I'm doing something. So it is highly important that we take cognizance of this part of our lives, because success in those areas I've just mentioned, even though it is encouraged by our parents, by the society we find ourselves, and we acknowledge and also we get rewarded for these things. But then the spiritual part of our life is just doing what? It's just dormant, such that we really still find a voidness inside of us because we have not taken time to take cognizance of the spiritual space of our life. So this is why this subject matter is highly important. Okay. Then the subject matter is taken, the scriptures for today's subject matter is taken from Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 15. That scripture says, the labor of the fools, permits, this is fools, wearies them all, for they do not know how to go to the city. There is the how to go to the city. But if you are a fool, you will not even receive knowledge to be able to go. You see, this is why it is important that you become wise. One of the things that happens to us is that God does not want us to do what? To be ignorant. No, God does not want us to be ignorant, because He says His people perish for lack of knowledge. So one of the things that gladdens the heart of God is to see us thrive in knowledge, and not just anyhow knowledge, but superior knowledge. And this is why spiritual intelligence is a superior knowledge that is needed for our lives to be what God intends it to be. You should not be a fool who just sits down behind the curtain and does not know how to go to the city. The city could be anywhere. It could be your place of influence. It could be your business world. It could be the purpose for which you live. It could be your ambition for life. It could be whatever God has laid into your hands. But there is the how to go there. And this is called strategies to fulfilling your vision and your purpose. Not understanding this is one of the things that will make you to be here and there and be running another person's race. The second scripture says, be sure to stay busy and plant a variety of crops, for you never know which will grow. Perhaps all of them will. And this is taken from Ecclesiastes 11 verse 6. It says, be sure that you are busy. And what are you busy doing? Planting the right seed on the right soil at a particular time. Plant all of them at all the particular season that you are in. And as you plant, be sure that the reward or the result of what you have planted will come forth. So you never know which one will grow. And as much as you do not know which one will grow, it is important that you take your time to be able to plant very well. All right. Now, spiritual intelligence is one of the intelligence quotients that exist, but is the superior of all that exist. Now, so the question is, what is spiritual intelligence? What is spiritual intelligence? You see, it is that human capacity in us that asks questions about the ultimate meaning of life. I remember when we were little, we always would ask our parents questions to say, this sky we are looking at up there, who made it? What is even beyond the sky? And our parents will just answer the way how best they know how to answer. And then they will ask and say, I will begin to ask and say, who made God? Who made us? First of all, they will say it's God. Then who made that God that made us? Then our parents will say, nobody, it just exists. Okay. And you see, that is just the nature in us as humans to begin to question things around us, especially the ultimate meaning for which we live. I don't know if you have sat down and begin to think, why am I even living? What is the essence of my existence? If there is a why for why I am living, then I should be able to fulfill the why. If I do not have a reason for living, then I should be with God. You see? Yes. He says, so it's possible to run another man's race, very possible to run another man's race, especially when you don't even know what your own race is. It is important that you begin to know what your own race is and begin to run it, because everyone on the earth existing have their different races to run. So it is important that you do not compare yourself with another, because the scripture says in 2 Corinthians 10:12, those that compare themselves with another person, they are unwise. So that you don't end up becoming a fool, one of the things you want to do better is not to compare yourself with another. All right. So that human capacity in us that asks questions about the ultimate meaning of life. Some people say, what's the essence of living? What's even the purpose for which we live? I don't know if I've actually thought of it. We were little, we are growing. As we are growing, you get to a stage where you get married and you have children. After you have your children, they grow up, they leave you, and it will not remain you and your husband. Tell me, what happens afterwards? What happens afterwards that the children have now left? It will not remain you and your husband. Looking like you are going back to where you started from. And then you're now thinking, what's even the essence of raising these children, or even saying I have a child or have children? When after all, I have spent everything to send them to school, to make them somebody, they will grow up and go and face their own life. Because that's what really exists, that's what happens. And you see old at little fingers, you can't do these things as you should or you were able to do before. And you then sit down, imagine, upon all of our running up and down, doing this and that, what is really the essence of life? Yes. So this is why, as little as we are, we must begin to understand our why for living. We must begin to understand the essence for which we live. And so that we begin to now integrates relationship between us and the world which we live in together, so that every damn thing that happens for us and with us and around us, it can be a sum total for which we live. If we do not understand the reason why we live, one of the things that will happen to us is that we will live out of purpose. We will run another man's race. We would have run at the end of the day. Then the master asks you, who sent you on the journey you went to? Because it's not sufficient for you to just sit down. See how a man is running his own race. Want to be like that man and run just to be like that man. And originally, maybe you were not even made to be like that other man. So the best reflection of who we are is in God. And once we find our true reflection in God, one of the things that happens to us is that we find true essence for living. And in fact, it's one of the things that makes you glad to wake up and see a bright new day, because you see it as opportunity to make impact even in that fresh new day. But a person who have not even found essence for living, one of the things that happens to such a person is that every damn day looks like boredom. Every damn day looks like, oh, we are here again. What are we even doing today? Self, we don't know.